Hi and welcome back to the channel Ground Zero. Today we look at the GMKTec K12. It is almost the same as the GMKTec K8 Plus. It has a Ryzen 7 processor in which is run on 8 cores, 16 threads and 32 gigs of memory and 1 terabyte SSD. Going to run some benchmarks and looking and see how it performs. What's interesting is that they put a sticker on the back to say that you mustn't plug in a network cable. Of course, if you want to avoid using your Windows account, because there's some videos out on the internet that say the latest update of Windows 11, the 25H2, forces you to use a Windows account. You can no longer use a local account. On to the benchmarking. Okay, let's look at the BIOS. Let's set the power mode to performance and set the graphics. You can change the memory, but I'll leave it at 3D. Let's save and that's it. I'm showing the install of Windows to demonstrate that I don't ask for a Microsoft account, login and username because it's not connected to the internet. So you can enter your own username and password for a local account, and then they'll just ask you for security questions, which you must fill in. That's in case you lose your password. And then the other stuff is just by normal. There, it's done. Install is very fast if you're not online, and it doesn't ask you all those. There's normally some other questions and stuff that ask. That's it for the Windows install. Okay, here to the right top, you'll see the K12 running at full load on the GPU. On the left top, it's the K8 Plus running on full load of the GPU. And at the bottom left, it's the K8, normal K8. You can see the temperatures. The K12's temperature is very low because of the fans. And the K8 is very high because the quality of the fan that's in there. They improved it in the K8 Plus. As you can see, the temperature is a bit lower than a K8, but the K12 temperature is even lower, and they're all running the same processor, so the fans are better than the K12. Here we have 3D mark, time spy. The one that on the left is K12, the one on the top right is K8 Plus. You can see the K12 is doing better in time spy than the K8 Plus. First time I ran still Nomad here on the K12 with a score of 511. Here we compare the K12 with a Evo X1 AI. This is a Ryzen 9, and the K12 got 2949, 21 frames per second, where the Evo X1 got 3404 and 25 frames per second, but that's because it has a stronger processor. So the base score for K12, 30,953. All the graphics tested about 50 frames per second. Then we have the first strike score, which is 8,111. It's also a nice high score. Here we have the Geekbench 6 stats. You can see the K12, the single core score was 2578 and the multi-core 12874. And if you look at the K8 Plus, which also has a Ryzen 7 processor but a different version, there the scores are lower. So you can see on the CPU it's stronger, but it's not stronger than the Evo X1 because that's a Ryzen 9 processor. And then if you look on the GPU, the K12 is 29,059, where the K8 Plus is 30,296. And of course, Evo X1 has an 890 A1 That's even faster, that's at 43,900. So it's interesting that the K12, which has the same graphics processor than the K8 Plus, but it's doing worse. I've seen that in other tests as well. The CPU part is better, but the GPU part is worse. I'm not sure why that's that.
We'll get ready for the main event.
Spider-Man remastered. Frames is about between 61 and 64 frames per second. This is good. I don't have much problems with Spider-Man game performs well. Some of the other mini pieces
I'll make sure no one
as
gets in their
well.
way.
Ryzen 4. This game always performs very well on any machine. As you can see, it's very high in the frames per second, than over 70. And this runs well in the K12. Drive 5 running at a steady pace of 36 frames per second. It's good enough to play the game, it's smooth enough. And now it's at 40 frames per second all of a sudden. Something Man, also running around 30 frames per second. There it goes below 50. It's running smooth. So the K12 can handle it. Here we are using the event benchmark. We test the GPU. You see there in the right corner, it's testing of the frames and calculations. On the left, I also have the frames per second. You see it's not always the same because it tests it differently. Enjoy the footage. That concludes the even benchmark. The average was 65.2 frames per second. The minimum was 38. The max was 128. So the K12 does a good benchmark. Here we have the superposition benchmark. It's the same company that did the Haven benchmark, but it's a bit more newer version of their benchmarking tool. So it has a few effects that the previous one didn't have. So the result is 4214. You can compare it online to other hardware right here. 4,200, it's not even in the top. See, like 55,000, and that's at heavy computers. That concludes the benchmark of the GMKTec K12. The average entry model plays a lot of games. It's good for that. It also has an Oculink port at the back. I tried that, but it didn't want to pick up my video card, so I'm not sure what's wrong there. But I'll try again in the future, see if I can get it working. Did I buy another one? I don't think so. The K8 Plus, the GPU performs better in that one than this one. And also the Oculink works better in the K8 Plus. I'm not sure what they did in the K12, but the Oculink doesn't work if you plug a eGPU into it. So I don't think I will buy another one. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.